Shalom, my brothers and sisters. This today the Most High Yahoo has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. I'm gonna give a dream to you guys, and then I'm gonna get y'all into what the Most High Yahoo has me into. Haven't so much, but I'm gonna try to give some of it, and as I go, I add more. The Most High Yahoo has been talking to me about prostitution, and he said he putting an end to this because it's unfaithfulness, and also they have cults. This part of being like, it's like part of with like the cults. It's a cult. Satanic thing. And I'm going to give y'all into what he got me, because also it's a trick of the enemy. Got me still with part of with that ancient demon, that Baal, Shaitan. And this is a consequence for sin, y'all. And we got to understand that this is why the Most High Yahoo has me going back into doing like Hebrew, because that ancient alphabet, this going back to with the ancient Egypt days, Egypt. And it go into a Roman and Greek and Latin. Roman European, that's why we speak English. This is why the Most High Yahoo has me to go back to Hebrew, because the words in English is different from the words in Hebrew. Like we have Monday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You got the days of the month. All of this is to worship their gods. Worship the fallen angels. Everything on this world they have us to do, like they even changed the calendars, is to worship the universe and the fallen angels. Still with the universe, the mother. Okay, and know the Most High Yahuwah been telling us about being unfaithful, an adulteress, or you're a whore, a prostitute. And the word for whore and prostitute in Hebrew, it's called because I'm trying to give y'all some Hebrew words. And we know it said Babylon, a great whore. It's a cult, but also it's a satanic cult. It's connected to that Batman. Why you think they so much about with sex, and then about the transgender? We're cutting off the parts. It's all connected to life. It's back to get at the Father. It's back to get back. It's to get back at our Father. That's how dirty they are, y'all. Because you know how they had a woman movement, and how they pushed and talking about women don't need men and all this. And with that transgender thing, because the Most High Yahuwah has me with, look at that alphabet again. You go to where the sexual part is, and they believe in castration, cutting off the man parts, so they get rid of the man and get rid of life, humanity. Can't have no more children. That's why they with that transgender. And then you be a woman, still with pushing the woman feminine energy, universe. Because they got something against the man. That's why they take the man out the house. This is why they after the firstborn son. Why they was after Yahushua, the man. And then they was after Adam, but then he got tricked by a female, manipulation. Woman. But as you look at this thing, it got testicles on there. And it says life. It says generation function. Judas. They named it Judas. That satanic cult. Baphomet, Shaitan, then with the universe, name it Judas. Now what was Judas was? A traitor. They saying it was a traitor. You know how they try to word it, because Judas, he traded on the Most High Yahuwah, on our Father. But also the opposite. You know how they try to say, they ain't gonna say the truth, they're gonna say the opposite. But that's when they say Judas, they say Judas is a traitor. That's what they call it. That's the best word that they can describe that area, was Judas. Saying this sexual, it was a traitor. Saying Yahuwah, he's a traitor. The man, that's why they took away his parts. And this is why they also in with that sexual thing. Because manipulation. Judas was unfaithful. And he went after money. Was by the Romans offered money, the resources, to go against the Father. So he become a traitor. But also when you, this is why the Most High Yahuwah said about, had me talking about, to me, he was talking to me the other day, talking about virginity, how virgins, how he wanted to be pure, because this is how he did he created the universe. It was pure. Nobody had her. This is how he with the virginity. This is why they say Mary was a virgin. He wants to be pure. He wants you to be pure. So, and he said to have sex after marriage, because when you have sex, it messes with your mindset. It do like a control thing. This way it said manipulation. Manipulation is a sign of witchcraft. And what manipulation do? It tricks you. You know how much also with sex, it changes your feelings and emotions. You can't think right. But this also connected with prostitution, sex. Sodom and Gomorrah. They just having sex and don't have no feelings. Just having sex, prostitute. Then you unfaithful. It's go spiritual and physical. He said our body is a holy temple, holy acceptable to him. He only wants to dwell there until he call us and have us with our spouse. You know how a king does with his queen, his princess? When he do with his child, his princess. The man got to come, he got to make sure the man family and everything fit for him to let them get married off. But we also go against his will. Out of ignorancy and then just doing it. Because tradition of men, what we was taught. But cut off the private parts. Want to get rid of life. This is why they go into the transhumanism. Against the seed. Still war. Told y'all this thing right here. That ancient thing. They telling you. This is why they push that agenda. And then castration. I seen other day about they doing something to a man in Louisiana that molested a young child. He black. He ain't the only one. You got different colors that molested a child. But got him up in that time about they gonna castrate him. Going back to the Roman practice. Sacrificing to their gods. Because I'm going to get y'all into why the Most High Yahuwah got me prostitution. But let me give you this dream. That's how he got me off, and then I'm going to give you what else he gave me. So, all I know in this dream, you know how you go to like a high school football game? And it was at nighttime. And we was coming out of the stadium going to our car. I was walking with a group of people. And you know how the parking lot is? And the young men were just standing up against their cars with their hand folded looking, right? Just hanging, talking. These young girls, it was a group of them. They had white on, short shorts, hoochie mama shorts, white on, manipulative. Shaking and twerking. Just came back there and started dancing and twerking, bending all over. Just how they do now. They taught us as we supposed to be royal. He taught the Most High Yahuwah tell us how his children should act. Okay, so acting like whores, bending over. And then one of the young girls that was in the group that went to the school out, and the group was walking with, in the group. I don't know these people. I'm just walking in the group. The young girl say, those are prostitutes. I said, prostitutes? I just thought they was regular kids just dance, because you know how the new stuff is, this new age people, this new generation. Twerking and dancing. Them trends and dance with Satan. Seduction. Seducing people. Seducing the man. That's also with that Judas. That Jezebel spirit. But look, they was twerking and dancing. And the girl said, they prostitutes. I said, prostitutes? I said, in the high school, prostitutes? She said, yeah. They start early now. Prostituting early in high school, y'all. They didn't even do that. I told that girl, I said, we didn't even do that in school. We didn't even do that in school. But you know what the Most High Yahuwah tells me? Evil and wicked generation. They will see the days of Noah. They looking for a sign and will see nothing. Because they getting their information, all these practices and stuff they get from Satan. for Shaitan. It's from Shaitan, these fallen angels, and the mother. So, as I got up, y'all, I seen this movie was talking about the last of the escorts, the end of the escort on my television. I seen it was called The Last Day of Escorts at 5:50. I woke up, seeing this clicked on my TV and this was on there. The Last Days of an Escort, and it's about two struggling escorts, prostitutes, detail their own experience following an encounter with a dangerous client. Got in the hands of the wrong one. And it was at 5:50, right? So I look at the time, 5:50 in Hebrew concordance, where it's talking about faithful. They unfaithful. And it went back, and as I read this, it was got me into talking about unfaithfulness, sins, talking about foreshadowing the gospel. And it was saying that, you know how Yahoo is talking about sins. It says sin, internal organ, Ammon downfall begin in the heart. Circumcise the heart. And you know how they talking about, I didn't know no better, talking about circumcising the children. You know, they got you, when you got into that higher thing, and the higher mindset, say technology, or pharmaceuticals, because that's what the universe, pharmaceuticals. That's also with Bam. They doing all them transition things going on, removing this thing, and also they did circumcision, pull away of the foreskin. That's part of like being like castrated. That's some Roman and Greek fallen angel practice. Because he says he want us to get circumcised from the heart. Circumcise the heart to make you clean. And they went advanced and started taking the foreskin off of the men. And this you make money off of that. Another one of them trying to stealing their inheritance. They make money off of that. Thinking back in the days, did we have that? And then they start doing it also in Egypt, and they do that in the African community. I mean, in Africa. Them traditions, and they sacrifice them things to different gods. Cause he also had me also with Then after that, another movie came on. Y'all still talking about prostitution. And another movie came on after that. It was called The Gold Digger. Movie called The Gold Digger. And this was going on there. They chasing after men and money of this thing and prostitution. Gold digger. Tells me I have to repent from this, because I didn't know no better. Because I told y'all, if anyone been watching me, I said my mama had me to like that. Like, man, if you mess with a man, make sure he give you something. Like prostitution. But I had to understand, when she grew up, she ain't had no mother. Her grandma raised her, but she was doing her wrong. And my mom didn't have nobody to look out for her. So she looked for love with men, and she had to make it in life. So she felt like this was part of what she had to do to make it in life. And so she tried to pass that down to me. But then the Most High Yahuwah woke me up to have me to break that generation curse. Ain't like I was just hoeing. But I didn't mess with no broke man either. And that also tells you, don't even marry or settle down and with marriage or nothing. Mama, she ain't teach me nothing like that. She wasn't even married. She got proposed sometimes, but she ain't settled down and be married. She had that spirit in her. We have to break that generation curse. And now I think the Most High Yah, he broke it for me. That my daughter don't live like that. And I didn't do that. and with my daughter, my children. Now I might date somebody, but I ain't do that all in front of my children like that. I had enough respect for my children. Y'all. But he had to wake me up from this. And this was going on, and then with them alphabets gonna be going, them dead alphabets, them AIDS. Most High y'all told us also that's a curse. That's punishment for their sins. That epidemic of AIDS going on and sexual transmitted diseases. Because it's supposed to be just husband and wife. Supposed to be faithful, just like we're supposed to be faithful to our Father. But the woman could be manipulative. Look how the universe, she manipulative. She messing with different gods. She's a whore. She ain't faithful to her husband. This might be why he put out. Ain't no telling. But she ain't faithful. She married to different gods. Her children. Some women married to their children. Even though incest, but still, like their commitment and their loyalty is more to their children than their husband. I had a friend like that, and I told her, I said, you wrong. Your husband come before your child. To a certain extent. You know you ain't gonna let him harm him, but still. Y'all, I don't know why I got on that, but okay. So he been telling me about prostitution. And this is a trick of the enemy. So he gonna either have you be prostitute and sex just go crazy like Sodom and Gomorrah, and have you sacrificing the gods, they doing sexual acts. Some even sleeping with the dead, having sexual acts, sleeping with succubus, unsuccubus. They come in your dream. You having sex with the marine kingdom, having sex to idols, gods. Your man, this man you mess with, he become your god. Idolizing people, unaliving people, cause they manipulative them into relationships, or they so can't stand resisting, can't stand their emotions everywhere. Can't stand a breakup, so they unalive the people. We gotta be careful these days talking about relationships. What spirit these people in? What these people into? Sacrificing people. They have you thinking that you're in a relationship, and then next thing you know, they sacrifice you. You sacrifice their children to Baal, to fallen angels. Y'all, there's so much going on. But the word for prostitution is it's called. And that got me with Judas. Since they talking about Judas that part, and he's a manipulator and gold digger. That movie Gold Digger. He must have been a gold digger. Because he got this why the love of money is the root of all evil. People do anything strange for a piece of change. Judas he was unfaithful and money. He was money hungry. He was a gold digger. And they gave him silver though. But it's called Kadahash. That's how you say whore. Babylon, the great whore, the harlot, and her daughters. You know what? Them were Babylon daughters dancing, trying to deceive all men. In them dream. Them Babylon, that's Babylon the great, her daughters. Them harlots. And then they had white on like they were pure. But they were dancing. That's why he said, don't judge the outside of the cup, it's with the inside. You'll see what they about. That's how they tricking people. Satan got his own people out here. That's why I say don't be, because people got all white on and all that. You don't know what these people into. What traditions and sacrificing to these gods, and why you better go to the Most High Yahuwah about everything. Pray to him about who these people is, what they into. Having to ask him to expose these people to you, to reveal them to you, so you cannot be deceived by counterfeits and wolves and sheep clothing. Everything look good ain't good. Look how Satan, he come as an angel of light. So the Most High Yahuwah told me the other day they was twins. That's why you could get tricked. You know how them twins be? They be like, I'm gonna play my brother today. Go, you see how the movies and crime shows. They go do crime and say it was the other person. That's why you know by the spirit. But also this morning, he had me on. I looked at this article. And then talking about the universe, talking about ancient Egypt. And it's all connected, go back to Herod. That's why I said, and it's connected to the universe. And it's with NASA. And it all connected, talking about how they do research and talking about earthquakes under the ground. Resources, they dig way deep in the ground for the resources. But it caused earthquakes. And I looked at back then, the Most High Yahoo had me with two of the Illuminati cards. It was talking about earthquakes. And they had earthquakes talking about I'm gonna get to that. Let me get to this, y'all, because I'm okay. The first talking about a stone. Cause the Most High Yahoo had me with this movie, right? It's called Revelation Skulls, right? Skull Revelation. And it's talking about these pastors, Hezekiah and them, T.D. Jakes, no, they false prophets, was talking about different things in their life. I didn't read too much up going to it because I already knew they was false, but I got the title called Revelation Skulls. And this was the Most High y'all been telling me about deep skulls, the Dead Sea skulls, talking about even with the ancient, the Hebrew, revealing the skulls. They digging for the ancient skulls. They getting it and using it for their own good. Cause look at this. It says archaeologists discover stone inscription unlocking secrets of ancient Egypt. Now, once Solomon over Egypt was with Pharaoh and his daughter, they going back. They pushing so much with this and that Judaism and all them over there, that Jewish and stuff. I'm gonna get to that. That's them pharaohs in Egypt with slavery. But look at this, say unlocking secrets of ancient Egypt. But the article said, in the popular imagination. Now, what the Most High y'all told us to stay with pure conscience. Because they're going to high conscience. They worship the universe and Satan. It says, in the popular imagination, Rosetta Stone alone decoded hieroglyphics, I think glyphics. Yeah, I don't know how to say that word. But it said, cracking open the ancient Egypt universe. That's why the Most High told us don't go back to Egypt. They in the Egypt practice. Universe. Told y'all all them on there. On that ancient Egypt. That ancient Baal. All them worship. All that one world religion, everything that's ancient universe. They worship the universe. Egypt. Egypt practices. It says, in fact, it was one of several stones inscription that proved pivotal in the painstaking scholarly task of deciphering Egypt's oldest form of writing. This one most I told Egypt's deep sea skulls. And they know they've been hiding stuff from us. That's why I said the Bible, they switch stuff. It says, another was the decree of Canopus, the first version of which was discovered in 1866 at Tanis, a one-time dynastic capital location in the northern Nile Delta. Like the Nile. It says, measuring nearly 7.5 feet in height. It was inscribed with three languages on it. Egypt, a cursive script. It says Egypt writing, a cursive script known as Dumtic in Greek. Told you Greek, Egypt. It was in Greek. This why knows how y'all tell us they have, even when reading this word, they change it. Greek. How are you going against yourself? Even worshiping still, have the word still worship Satan, Shatan, worshiping Shatan and his fallen angels, his brothers and sisters, whatever they is, and the mother. It said, look at this. The inscription recorded a great assembly of priests. Now, what that was the one world religion? One world religion, priests. Most High Yahweh tell us about the priests with the religions. He said the religion, people the ones that's gonna take us out. Look, assembly of priests that gathered in Canopus in 238 BCE during the reign of Ptolemy III, which is a greater number of different hieroglyphs than the Rosetta Stone. It played a crucial role in 19th century research, and today is the centerpiece of Egyptian Museum and Cairo collection. But look at this cannabis. Pay attention to that word. It says, on September the 9th, the Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities announced that another version of the decree of cannabis have been found at the archaeologist site known as Hill of Pharaohs in El Husania, the city north of Cairo. Now see that word El? But look at that Pharaohs. They doing the same part. They come building, they pushing this back. And this article just came out. I think this was today. The significance of the discovery lies in the fact that it is a completely new version of the cannabis decree. These people connected to the Roman, and they with Herod and his daughters. You know, one of Herod's daughters have cut off his head. It says complete a new version of cannabis decree. The ministry. All this Greek for this they stuff they have in there, how you worshiping, doing that one world religion, still pointing to what we talking about. Baal and the universe. They're Greek. Egypt. It says, researchers are now expected to pick through the stela and compare it to other versions. Now look at this. Compared to other versions. Told y'all. That's probably been some of the that might be the word. Dead Sea Scroll. That's what that is. One of the scriptures. That had to be one of the, because you know they say the Ethiopian Bible. So this part of the word I told y'all. So this why the Most High got me with Dead Sea Scrolls. And religion, because they preach this up the word. How you worshiping Satan? Going to the Egyptian practices. Sacrificing and all that to their idols. They have you doing this. This is why the Most High y'all got us going back. Look at this. It said compared to other versions, unlike the previous 6 copies. I'm just now reading this with y'all getting an understanding of the decree that have been found over the past 150 years. This version is inscribed solely with the hieroglyphics. I think that's what it is, y'all. The 4-foot sandstone slab in excellent condition, and though not as elaborate as the Egyptian Museum version, it's not elaborated as the Egypt Museum version. It's called with wing. Look at this. It's not even. I told y'all they switched the word. It said it's and though not as elaborate as the Egyptian Museum version, another version of the word. It's carved with a winged sun disk flanked by 2 royal cobras on top of it. But look at this. It says the significance of this discovery lies in the fact that it is a completely new version of the cannabis decree. The ministry said in a statement, the cannabis decree, you know what that is? I look up that's got with the Roman teaching the word, the ministry, going back for the religions of the priests, the Sadducees and the Pharisees and the scribes. Told you, still teaching us their word. It says the ministry say in a statement, researchers are now expected to pick through the stela and compare it to other versions. Now why they got other versions? Why it just couldn't be just that one? They got different versions of that, the word, the ministry. That's why the Most High told us it's not about religion. It's about a relationship. Because they came down making different religions. And now you into a religion doing all their practices and stuff. Have you been a prostitute doing traditions sacrifices and rituals and stuff to their God, offering gifts to the Queen of Heaven and her children. Even though I still get the word, don't get it twisted, y'all, because there's some truth in here. I still read the word, but I get what the Most High Yahuwah, his wisdom. And this what he gave me this morning. We just still talking about this. It says, unlike the previous 6 copies of the decree that have been found on the past 150 years, this version is inscribed solely with hieroglyphics. The 4-foot sandstone slab is excellent condition. It's in excellent condition. And though not as elaborate as the Egyptian museum version, it's carved with. I read that, y'all. I don't know why I read that again, but look, we reading again. So let me go back to this. Now we're on to the next. Most High had us go right back to that again and read that again. But okay, let's go this. Below this, there is a blank space. Stefan Pfeffer, an Egyptologist, who has written on the Canopus decree, believes this shown the still is incomplete. Sin is incomplete. Different scholars had depictions that were adapted to local religious backgrounds. Now I'm talking about the empty space. Why? Because they're going to fill it in with something else. Religious backgrounds. And it says, we can, why do they say we can and can't? We can't be sure what it would have looked like. Prefer says over email, nothing there is also enough blank space below the heretic's text for demonic. Beyond, it is used as a translation tool. The decree of Canopus has helped scholars understand Platonius' rule in Egypt. This is how they rule us in Egypt practice. They rule you through the word. That's why when the mark of the beast and religion, if you don't worship and bow down to him, they on attack. They gon' It says the decree which the entire Egyptian priesthood, told you the priests, Sadducees, scribes, and them ordered to be inscribed on stels and disseminated throughout the territory temples, touches an exceedingly wide range of subjects. In records, Ptolemy the military expedition into Asia has recovered divine images as well as Pharaoh's suppression of domestic insurgencies. It notes that the ruler wisdom and benevolence in importing gain during a recent drought. It declared Ptolemy III and Queen Berenice, recently deceased daughter Prince Bernica, a goddess, with their mythologists a fallen angel, and prescribes the cultist activity that should take place and to honor her. A cultist. And you know the Most High had me also with a scripture talking about occult prostitution. What? That's why one of them things that hell you can have sex and do whatever. Just part of their stuff. And it said to take place to honor her. Because you do this for their God. She a God. Because I'm going to show you what he got me into this. It also issued a most accurate solar calendar to date in the ancient world. They mess with the calendar, so I told y'all about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They got March, April, all this to worship the gods. They Greek gods. These fallen angels. It says adding an extra day every 4 years. Add an extra day every 4 years. May it be known to all men that the arrangement of the seasons, look, I'm talking about season, because they look to the stars. That's what the Most High said. This wicked evil generation seeking for a sign, because they look for the universe. of the year was somewhat defective. The decree of cannabis states the rules which exist as the laws of science. The laws of science. Told y'all spiritual laws. Science. The universe. And the ways of heaven. And the ways of heaven have now been set right. How you gonna tell us the ways of heaven been set right? That's why the Most High said it. Nobody know the season, the time, of day. See how they lie? It says today the city of cannabis where Ptolemy the third and his priests coven 220 years. 202,000 years of age lies a sunken city of the coast of Alexandria, the victim of earthquakes. Now, I had them, the Most High brought me back to the Illuminati cause. They got earthquakes. Because they dig in the ground, they create this stuff still happening. I told you the Most High Yahuwah said they're going to destroy themselves. It says, victim of earthquakes and rising sea levels. Earlier this year, for the first time in a quarter century, Egyptian archaeologists began to conduct an underwater evacuations. Digging up under the sea. So I looked up about Bernice, the daughter of Herod Agrippa. She was a daughter. She ruled, it says, Bernice of Sicilia, also known as Julia Bernice, and sometimes spelled Bernice in Greek, was a Jewish, now what you call them people over there at that synagogue of Satan? Jewish queen of Roman Empire. During the second half of the first century, Bernice was a member of the Herodian dynasty that ruled the Roman province of Judea. We're trumping them all with Judea. Between 39 BC and 92 AD, she was the daughter of King Herod Agrippa and Cyprus, and the sister of King Herod Agrippa the second. And then I went to King Herod, and we know he unalive. It says he was the last king of Judea. They call him the Great. He was a grandson of Herod of the Great and the father of Herod Agrippa, the last known king for the Herod dynasty. Herod dynasty. He was an acquaintance or a friend of Roman empires and played crucial roles in internal Roman politics. So they're in the politics and everything. You know, we always say that Roman, they rising up than Europeans. That's why they with that. They against all people, y'all. It says, he ruled over territory. The vast kingdom of Herod was Herod the Great, carrying a Jewish and Roman identity. He played a role of intercessory on behalf of the Jews with a Roman authority. And on a domestic level, gave hope to some of the Jewish subjects of the restoration of an independent kingdom. Same kingdom. Pursuing the Herod policy of Eurystem, I think that's what it is, y'all. Through major works of several Greek cities of the Near East, he nevertheless alienated some of the Greeks and Syrian subjects, while his region ambition earned him to the opposition of Marcus and legate of Roman Samaria. And they were just going by when he passed away at the age 44. And King Herod was the ruler of Judea. What you think they over there? They call Trump king. But also, you know, they're waiting for the Antichrist. The same spirit. And we know that with King Herod, I told y'all, he unallowed the innocent, the children. All male. Now, why he was after all the male children? So they mad after the father. And also, how the Most High Yahuwah came with his son. Why they after the man? Just like that part. They call him the man as a traitor. Because they worship the mother. They for females. And now, as we looked at, remember I told y'all the canopus. Canopus is a location they study in the universe. To search a canopus on a clear night, choose a location with an unobstructed view of the southern horizon to find Sirius, the constellation Cain Major. Then it's also connected with NASA. The mother, they within the stars, the fallen angels, all that stuff. It says also the part of the sky are the two brightest appearing stars in the night sky, Sirius and Canopus. And them stars, fallen angels, themselves soon to cross the meridian. Sirius is the brightest of all known stars. This dazzling blue white diamond has the distinction of being visible to every well popular for every well-populated region on Earth. It contrasts of the star second only to Sirius of the brilliance. And it says Canopus multitude 0.62 is only visible to those in south latitude, and they talking about the earthquake. So they even have that I wonder if like where that located at, does that go down into the earth? Because why they so worried about the stars and then talking about with the earthquake? Do that fallen angel control them earthquakes? Like they working getting to doing that evil work and that resource, because they talking about they evacuating and all this thing. We know they do evil stuff. Cause look at this. I also looked up in about the It says in contrast, the star second only to Sirius is brilliance. Canopus, multitude 0.62 is only visible to those on the south of. So it's only located. You can only But that's what I'm saying. Why that star connected to the earthquake? It said it can only be located. It said Canopus magnitude 0.62 is only visible for those on those south of latitude 3.37.9 degrees north, apparently passing close to San Francisco, California, Wichita, Kansas, and Richmond, Virginia. And I looked up that, and they all have earthquakes right there. That's how I looked at when they talk about earthquakes. And every area I went to, they have earthquakes in there. In California, in San Francisco, California, they have earthquakes, and they've been happening recently. Wichita have earthquakes. Wichita, Kansas, they have earthquakes. In Richmond, Virginia, they have earthquakes. But they said the star is located to that area. Like, that's why I say them fallen angels doing stuff to corrupt the world. And then they also evacuating. So they taking the resources and underlying people with it. That's why the Most High said they living out the resources. Because they evacuating, talking about evacuating, going up under the water. But also they corrupting the world. They use the mother up. She don't know they destroying her. And they doing this for resources. And they digging also for the ancient skulls. Following that's they digging for stuff. Because if they crack the earthquake and stuff start breaking down stuff, then they can find stuff. Yeah. But that's what he got me on. Prostitution. The great the great harlot. And you know, a day or so ago, the Most High Yahoo had me on about that. They had this, when he talking about gods, right? And he told us about Baals and how they have people uh, say they gods. He had me also back in this article that they idolize the Catholics, they idolized this young man named Caleb, saying that they made him into a saint. Idolizing the Vatican-based academy. They talking about the boy had miracles, but they got signs in here like you can know it's demonic. 196 numbers. They still got the little boy in a casket, y'all, on display with the sun god on there. Got the young guy, and they had to pick the children go to the school. They got a movie behind this guy. They got the little boy, the children go do a field trip to go see this guy, and guess what they praying to him? They prayed to the little guy, the little boy. The dead, deceased. This little boy was sacrificed by his parents. And they said somebody with he was good in technology. They were idolizing. Tonight he was a miracle. They got that little boy body up in there. The children go there and they got him as a saint now. Worship him. Got him his name Saint something. They do any other practices. They said he was a 15-year-old computer whiz, became the Catholic Church first millennium saint. The new generation. On Sunday, giving the next generation of Catholics relatable role models who use technology to spread the faith. Kind of work through technology, spread the faith, spread Satan. It said Pope Leo, whatever the numbers, canonized Acutis, who died in 2006. Acutis sound like one of them Greek gods. This little boy, this boy, which is they say is a god, he passed away in 2006, and they had this little boy body still on a display in a church and have them go worship him and pray to him. It says during the open air mass in St. Peter's Square before an estimate 80,000 people, many of them millennium and couples with young children, Leo also canonized another group Italian figure who died young. So they got the whole children there worshiping. Now they got them to the young kids idolizing these fallen angels. And they got with Pope Francis 2019. Talking about a roadmap to reality. A roadmap to worship Satan. And then I wonder, like, this little boy, you know how they got the cult kids. They got the children in cults. Like Satan worshippers, they kids. Because I pay attention to the hand symbol of this little boy. I mean, like he a Mason. Look at his hand. On that picture. I look at some of his pictures. Why he got the same hand pose? Look at that. And they got Christmas on here. So you know they got Christmas. Got him in here on Christmas. With them colors like sacrifice colors. But look at the one eye symbol. They sacrifice their own children. Sacrifice to an idol, to a god. Because the Most High Yahuwah asked me, had me also with that Bernice, that Queen Bernice. You know, was she in Egypt, what she did, her hair was real yellow and gold, and she was a god. She had the beautiful thing that she cherished was her hair, and she went into the temple and sacrificed her hair gave it as a gift to the gods. Told them to have, because her husband was at war. Said, "Can you protect my husband? Make sure he come back safe." So that she offered her hair as a living sacrifice, as a gift to the gods. And so she had the military guards to watch the hair to make sure they don't nobody take it. It was inside the church, and the military men woke up. They went to sleep. They thought the hair was gone, so they had run and go tell the priest, "Hey, we scared because she unalive them that the hair was gone when they woke up." So they ran to the priest, and the priest was scared because he didn't want to go back and tell them about the hair missing, because they gonna unalive him too, because he owned the church, and they're gonna be like, "Why you over the church? Why my hair missing?" And so what the priest did, went to go make a lie. He told them, um look, the gods had received your hair. And he had made a he pointed to the sky and seen a constellation and say, "See that line right there, made it look like something like a hairline or something." He said, "That's your hair right there. The gods had took it." So they believed that. Of the same person, that Egypt Roman that we just got through talking about, that Herod's daughter, a great daughter, her. That was a story, the Greek story about them, the Roman. Egypt. Sacrifice to gods. Oh, let me tell you, thank you, Father. A scripture about the occult, prostitution. It's a cult. What they do that in Hollywood and everything, they had them prostitutes and stuff. It's a cult. It's a satanic cult. Have orgies, all kind of stuff. Some people say they even let them boo-boo on them and pee on them. Cults. Prostitution cults. Y'all, I'm gonna have to put that scripture in there, but it was talking about when in the word it was talking about because I looked it up on in Hebrew, and it was talking about at a time one of the prophets or something went to go ask about a cultist prostitute was standing outside or something, and they lied and told them that it wasn't no prostitute there. But it said occult prostitutes, Canaanites. But I'm gonna give y'all that real quick. And if I come with something else, I'll bring it to y'all. But this is what he got me on right now. Prostitution. Y'all be blessed.